hoping, because AT&T contacted us and informed us that they were doing away with the copper wire line service in our area, so we had to change over to an internet-based phone system. And it is supposed to be in our budgeted area that we've proposed, yes. So we should be fine. If not, it may be a little bit more. At least that's what they've explained to us.
The only other thing I have is get really sure the 2,500 in township assistant housing, twice as much.
More than likely it will be. If not, we'll just have to have an additional appropriation when we get to that point. We think at this time it'll probably be sufficient. Anything further? Yeah. Yep.
Ready to discuss the capital improvement plan.
Okay. Just to make sure everyone's aware of this, as of May 1st, 2025, Governor Braun signed into law, House Enrolled Act 1461-2025. Effective July 1, 2025, Section 38 of HEA 1461 adds Indiana Code 36-6-9-12 as a new section which requires townships to adopt a capital improvement plan, commonly referred to now as the CIP, on an annual basis. Under the Indiana Code 36-6-9-12, all townships are required to adopt a CIP that includes, number one, the balance of all unrestricted funds exceeding the township budget for the next year, and number two, the purpose for which all unrestricted funds are being retained. Section 35 of House Enrolled Act 1461 further added the following as a definition of unrestricted funds to Indiana Code 36-6-9-4.5 that identifies unrestricted funds as cash reserves that are not, number one, obligated by a township's following year budget, number two, committed to a township's capital improvement plan, number three, encumbered by a contract or purchase order, number four, restricted for a specific use by state or federal law or other applicable state or federal rule, number five, restricted by a contractual obligation, number six, restricted by a third party. Now, I'm going to pause here for just a moment, and since everyone has now heard that what this is called, House Enrolled Act 1461, I don't believe I'm going to sit here and read this thing verbatim, word for word. I'm going to cover the highlighted areas that's going to affect the township. So, per Indiana Code 36-1-8-5.1, a township shall transfer 30% of the balance of unrestricted funds defined by 36-6-9-4.5 and referenced above to the Township Road and Infrastructure Fund to ultimately be transferred to a city, town, or county. I'm not sure how deep we want to really get into this, me explaining this. I'm just going to basically give the Reader's Digest version from what we understand. This will be at the end of the 2026 budget. Our remaining unrestricted funds, basically the balance we have in the checkbook, minus the restricted funds, is subject to be 30% withdrawn from the township and either be applied back to the county and or the town in our case for the purpose of road and infrastructure improvements. We can place some of our items, or a wish list, I guess you would call it, in this capital improvement plan. There's no deadline for these items to be completed. So we came up with a list of items that are on that one handout over there. And I've got to find mine. Okay, page that looks like this with the very small print included on it. The ideas for the type of capital improvement, you have to basically fill out this form annually, decide what fund it would be from, and your unrestricted fund it would be from, the type of capital improvement, a brief project description, and an estimated project expense for that selected year. Now, if we do not place items or ideas in the capital improvement plan, it would be subject to the 30% going to the county, or in our case again, the town, for infrastructure. Like I say, the ideas that we have listed would be the repair to the fence at the Nash Chapel Cemetery. Some items I've actually got quotes on, $4,435, for example. If we don't do it this year though, that price may increase next year. So the Gerholt Cemetery, it needs a fence. An infrastructure improvement, for example, would be putting in a mini split at the storage facility at the Painted Hills location where Station 2's at. Another site improvement, seal coat the pavement, seal coat and repair the pavement at the fire station, Station 2. There are several items down through the list that pertain to the fire service. When I put this together, I was looking for ideas for things throughout our township that would benefit everyone in the long run. Basically, it's another way we could help the fire service and retain funds that were collected in Jackson Township and use them in Jackson Township to serve all of Jackson Township. Now, we will have to have adopting and approve a capital improvement plan on September the 18th, on that Thursday meeting. But the estimated projects that we've come up with, just from the simple ideas, I have a question, Sean. At the top it shows the total, then at the bottom it shows the total.
The top of the total is something that came in from another spreadsheet. That is not what we put in.
Okay, so that is
We're
not,
pulling that number from the entire township
Okay,
That's not something we can put in, that cell is not open to us.
okay,
So I'm not quite sure where they got that number, but that is a DLGF number, not ours.
okay. Just make sure everybody understands that's the DLGF number, is not ours. We have no idea how that populated there. But this capital improvement plan expenditures, hopefully, if all these ideas were to come to fruition, would be $632,945 still retained in the township. So, again, no decision will be made on this tonight. This is to review and discuss this 2026 capital improvement plan. And that's the synopsis of that at the moment. So,
So do we have any say whatsoever on where that captured money goes? Can it stay here in the town if we can't spend it in the township, or does it have to go to county?
the way we understand, however, there's still a little gray on it for everyone. We've watched video after video from other townships. Sorry. Okay. What we understand when this occurs, there is to be a memorandum of understanding between the township and whoever's gonna be the recipient of that 30%.
So
I've been told that, for example, if the township decided to go and let their 30% go to the county, the township in their memorandum of understanding was actually stating in there what roads they wanted improved. So I don't know if that's gonna be eventually adopted that way. I'm just saying that's what I've heard from another trustee who wants his memorandum of understanding that way. I don't know if they'll agree to that or not.
what, I mean, yeah, that's my question. I wanted to stay in Jackson Township.
The way we understand, it is supposed to stay in the township. Supposed to.
Yeah.
But that's all I can tell you about this. Like I said, we've watched videos on it. We attended that one training session up there, and
This is all very new to DLGF, SBOA, Indiana Township Association, they're all asking questions. So far, there's more questions than there are answers.
I can understand that.
And the DLGF and the SBOA are both struggling to come up with answers because they've never done anything like this before, to this degree. So this is what we've been told. I will tell you that these spreadsheets only came to us 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
no, it was pretty.
So I think like August of 18th or something. So they're still scrambling to get everything done. There's still a bunch of questions, that there's a lot of gray area that they're not sure of. But this is what from the webinars that we've watched from the DLGF and the Indiana Township Association, this is our best understanding. And I think Bill covered this, the assistance fund is not covered in this, they can't take any money from that. The 2 fire funds that the township has, we have to report them, but the 30% cannot come from those. It's only gonna come from the rainy day and the general, for us.
That's on the back page of the fine print when I forgot to mention that.
So 125,000 is what they can capture. Is that what I agree with?
That's what we, yes, and that's,
Unless we come up with more ideas to put in the line items for the CIP to decrease that restricted amount, then that means that the 30% they can take out will decrease.
because if we do not at least apply the CIP to the items that we have listed here, we will be giving them what, another 75,000
I don't know, whatever 30% is of that,
of the 63?
632,000.
Yeah. But there again, it's something we've got to think about for the next few days, and if you guys, either one of you have any ideas as to anything else that might be a capital improvement for our township, let me know. But that's all we've got for that about this time. I believe so.
Okay. Then any new business? Yeah, it's with great reluctance I do this, but with all the blowback we're getting and to, well, I'll just read it. The Jackson Township Morgan County Trustee and Advisory Board members, please consider this as my formal resignation from the Morgantown Fire Territory Board and as chairman of that board. My son has been hired as a paid part-time firefighter EMT with the Morgantown Fire Territory, and as such, I feel that that may be construed as nepotism, even though the Fire Territory Board had no input in the decision of when hired for the paid part-time positions. I feel this is the best action to take to eliminate any kind of impropriety, bias, or nepotism on my part and on Jackson Township. Respectfully, Mark Cecil, dated today.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't, but I, quite frankly, I'm getting tired of seeing my name dragged through the mud by some of these half-truths and innuendos that are out there. I mean, I won't say any more than that before I get myself in further trouble. I'm losing sleep, and it ain't worth it, I'm sorry. Nobody wants to come forth with another option to keep the fire department viable in this community, so. But my replacement on that board has to come from this board, so it will be somebody from the township board that will ultimately take my position on. And I'll be happy to help them in any way I can, get their feet on the ground and up and running. But this time I just feel that's best, because I can see that's coming down the pike. His son got hired, that's why he's up for all this, and that's not the case at all. I had no input on who was hired. I want that to be out front right now. Under the circumstances, I feel like this is the best course of action for me and my family.
Can I say something? I really hate to see you go, but I totally understand what you're saying. I think we're all tired of the mudslinging and the accusation and innuendos, half-truths. Even when they attend a meeting, they don't put on there exactly what happened, and it
Right.
just misleads the public. And as you can see, none of them showed up for the meeting tonight, but I'm sure they'll have something to say about it later on, but thank you for your time that you served here, and I'm sure all the guys here appreciate that, so.
Well, I've been in their shoes many, many years ago, for many years, and I know what it's like to try to run this place with little to no funding. And I just passed, believe me, it wasn't.
Well, thank you for everything you've done.
Yes, thank you,
We
Mark.
appreciate it.
Okay. Any other new business? I have none. If no one has, I'll accept a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. All in favor?